Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. I wanted to share something that I discovered on my tarot journey that was so very interesting, and I thought, why don't I share this? Um, well, as you know, Mercury is transiting Capricorn right now, and he's soon to have a meetup with Pluto. And Pluto is the planet of the underworld, Hades, and Mercury is the messenger. Mercury can go, up to Olympus and down to the underworld. He's the messenger. He flows between both worlds. So he brings us those messages. And I didn't even realize it, that they would be coming up to this conjunction. And last week and a few days ago, I was reading two articles. The first article was Beyond Death, Transition and the Afterlife by Dr. Roger Woolger, just something I found on the internet. And yesterday I started reading Hades as Place, The Landscape of a Pluto Transit, which was written by Brian Clark. If you're interested, just send me an email to neptunotarot61@gmail and I'll send them along to you. Very interesting reading. But as I was reading it, I came to realize, but this is the Six of Swords we're talking about here. We're talking about this transit, And so I said, let me see what comes up. So this was the closest image, because that's how, when you're a reader, these images come to mind and say, are we talking about this card? So this is a card that shows someone who is actually on a journey with the help of this person who is what they call the psychopompo or the psychopomp or the therapist or a good friend. Or it could also be your own inner guide. This person is being guided out of a situation and is crossing a river. And I began to wonder if this river was really the river Styx, which is the mythological river that we pass over once we die and we go to the underworld. And this is the person, the ferryman, who we have to pay money to, or they say they put the money on our eyelids. So here's a river here, and here's a ship, so it's a journey, it's a transit, it's a never going back to something, and this is really what we're talking about. Now this card is talking about the second decan of Aquarius, Mercury in Aquarius. And so then again, I said, Mercury? Yes. All right. And Aquarius is going into the future. So this traditional meaning of this card is we're leaving behind the past and heading into the future. We're going into the star card. A lot of times we don't know where we're going. And I always notice that in these tarot books, and in courses, you learn the meanings of the cards, and you may have a few classes where you actually interpret. Sometimes you don't get to interpret, and very rarely you get interpretations in the book. If not, you get one interpretation, and usually the author will give you a whole backdrop of information about the person. So it doesn't give you the chance to use your imagination very much. So what you have to do is you have to teach yourself how to interpret. Therein is your own creativity, because nobody else is going to interpret the tarot in quite the way that you do. And who's going to help you? The tarot itself. The tarot is now, after you have studied it, it becomes your teacher. And you start over from a different point of view, right? So that's interesting. But I also have a course called Interpreting. And what I do is I present these ideas to you. So I'm giving a little backdrop of what it is I actually do in this course, which is a very short course. But it's very interesting because it's like, we're moving to the next step, the next level, which is actually speaking of all the things that we've learned because the course is finished. So one of the things we can do is we have to pay attention to when there are cards in the tarot where people are showing their backs. So they're turning away from the present and they're going towards the future. Generally, that is what it is. So I found a couple other cards that show us this. I'm looking to the future. I'm not looking backwards. And the same thing here. We're not seeing their faces. And everything depends on the tarot you're using, So these people are turning their back on a situation and they're heading into the future. Now, in a reading, we usually have a card that's behind and a card that's in front. But we also know, because we've studied tarot, that the card before the 6 is the 5, which is the 5 of Swords, which is a very difficult card. So we could say that they're leaving behind a difficult situation of strife and stress, and they're moving towards the future. Now, the future is unknown. The future is not certain. We cannot predict. We know and can talk about the past with surety because we've experienced it, we've lived it. So any card, like even the 7 of Swords, could be a cautionary card alerting us, I'm sorry, not to become trapped in what's coming, right? And not to fool ourselves, not to lie to ourselves, and certainly not to expose ourselves to be entrapped or lied to by others. I have so much to say that, I can't even continue. All right. So that's one thing. And then there is the actual card that comes in. So we can say, let me give a shuffle here so that everything is fresh. Because I was looking for certain cards. That's why I have cards all over the table. So let's do a few examples to see what's being left behind. Now, it doesn't matter what card is being left behind. We know that it's coming from the 5 of Swords and it's going to the 7 of Swords, whether these cards appear in the reading or not. Okay, here's the first card. So we're leaving behind, it may be a job, maybe money that we've lost, right? Maybe we lost this money in some financial endeavor that had to do with the 5 of Swords, because who wants to leave this behind? Understand? Maybe we're leaving behind a lush home. Maybe we're moving cross country. I don't know. You will know, but it has all these possibilities. And look, this person is saying goodbye, looking like saying, why are you leaving me? Everything is here. Yes, but I have to go because I've experienced some kind of loss, which, or I've been given a job offer in the future and I'm moving on to that. Okay, but somebody's going to take me to the airport. Now, traditionally, this card speaks of a journey over water, because in those days, we didn't have air travel, but it is safe to say today that it could be leaving on a jet plane, which is the name of what I give this card, because air travel is also traveling over a body of water. And a body of water in the tarot could also mean emotions. So we're in an emotional journey. We're emotionally traveling over a difficult situation. On one side of the boat, the water is turbulent, and the other is not so much, if you look at the traditional reader. But in this, we see that everything is kind of turbulent here, and we need to move through those things. So we could say that it's kind of a grieving process that we're going through here, and we're processing it mentally. We need to, in order to get clarity, which is the Ace of Swords, right? We need to make some distance between you and a situation so that you can see clearly. And that is Aquarius, to be able to objectify what's going on and not so take it so personally. So they could be leaving behind. Here we have another pentacle, a good situation. And let's see where they're going towards the Empress. So this is a new opportunity. But the person is sad, maybe because they have to leave behind their family. It's sad because he's looking down. She's dejected. In the other tarot, she's got her children. She's got a child. Could be her inner child, but we see that they're going alone. So it's a journey, right? And this is the journey that we make, says the tarot, once we leave here. So I just wanted to share a little something that I saw in this article. It said the geography of the underworld. So this is a kind of death, because we're leaving things behind. And once you leave something behind, you cannot go back. If you go back, you're starting it again. We very rarely can pick up where we left off in any kind of relationship. Even if we start over on what was finished, we call it rebirth. So this article says, how am I doing for time? My Lord, we're at 10 minutes already. Okay. The geography of the underworld. Entrances to the underworld include caves, chasms, and underground pools or springs. Fissures or cracks in the earth's surface where hot springs or poisonous vapors escaped, or underneath a lake or a body of water. Now, I had to go and find this card, which comes from Ciro Marchetti's tarot, Legacy of the Divine. You see her there going through this underground cave of water, and there's swords in the water too. It's a very perilous journey. It's a dangerous journey, and you're alone. It's like a dream journey, you understand? But there's that light behind her showing her the way. And this sword coming from the skies could be the Ace of Swords. But all around our swords, all around it's a perilous journey. It certainly is. So these entrances generally are located in remote, wild areas. Some were sacred and others were forbidden entrances. At any of these entrances, a hero could begin his descent into the netherworld, passing through the underworld gates, guarded by the monstrous triple-head dog Cerberus. You all know that. Then it goes on to say, rivers, many of which were toxic and torrential, separated the lower world from the upper world. Souls that left their mortal bodies at death would cross the river Styx, the most poisonous and fearful of all the rivers facilitated by the ferryman. Charon, however, before the soul could cross the river, the body must be buried. Without the ceremony of completion, the unburied were condemned to wander aimlessly along the banks of the Styx, hovering as shades on the periphery of the underworld and unable to cross over to the final resting place. Psychologically, whatever has not been completed haunts us like unburied shade. Astrologically, during a Pluto transit, we are vulnerable to encountering the shades and shadows of what has been emotionally severed from consciousness. Why I came back to this card so many times is because I had also read an article that was speaking, well, I think it was Beyond Death. Here, Beyond Death also spoke of what happens to sometimes in death when the soul becomes lost and cannot reach its destination, that there is something that we can do in our prayers to help them on this journey, to find the light. And sometimes they never get out of this place. I don't know, there's many different places with many different names, but once people cross over in our family, they become our ancestors. And the link does not stop just because we don't see them. They go into a different realm. Now, we have been in that realm before, if you believe in reincarnation. We are going into that realm, but we don't lose the connection, the soul connection. The body is gone, but the soul is there. Remember, we decided to all come in together. Did you see Astral City? Check it out. That's a movie. By Chico Javier. A lot of people have seen it. Astral City. Okay, so where was I? Yes, so we're talking about these lost souls. So this soul has been recovered and is being taken across to this river as he heads towards the underworld. And as I kept reading, I realized that there were at least 5 rivers that must be crossed. This is the most outward. The river Styx is the most outward of the journey, the most outward one. But there are many others where you, as you cross through, you will hear souls weeping and things like that, things that distract you, things that scare you. I mean, yeah, this journey is a serious journey. You know, that's why you light a candle. You help people to cross over. We can do it. You best bet we can. Okay. And that's what I wanted to tell you about this card. Let me see if there's anything else. Okay, so yeah, let me see. You know, yeah, I had written some notes. I'm just going to share. It says a traditional meaning is a journey over water. It's an emotional journey or a physical journey. Back in the day before air travel, we used boats, but air travel is also considered a journey over water most times. And when we see people's backs in the tarot, it can indicate a turning away from the past and moving towards the future, or as we say, to calmer waters. It reminds me of all those who have perished in their journey across water as they try to immigrate to new lands, leaving behind stress and strife in their native countries. When you see cards that show people turning away, always pay attention to the previous card to see what that situation is, be it a person, place, or thing. The cards will tell you, and see what is the card that they're moving towards. The 7 of Swords has not yet happened, so it is to be used as a cautionary measure. Cautionary measure. Sorry there. To have a strategic plan, and you should not. Well, why did I write that? You might fall prey to those who might set these traps for you. But we spoke about all that. I don't play when I see the 7 of Swords come out in the reading. Oh, no, sir. That card is a warning to you. It's adverting you to, I love that, you know, I love them to change up these accents. You never know who is coming out. All right. So I'm sure the card is there to show you, to know, to tell you something that you probably did not know. So I already showed you the cards where we're showing people's backs. So the Seven of Swords is self-explanatory. What can I tell you? It's the Five of Swords. I don't want to get mixed up here. You see what it is when you write notes and you just want to freestyle? Let me just do what I'm doing here. If not, if I was meant to read something, I would have written an article and posted somewhere else. So where am I? I'm just going to take the bullet points here. So this is telling us. So one of the ways now, sorry about those wasted 2 minutes. Let us continue. When you're reading the cards, when you've been reading for a certain time, you want to change things because you're changed. You're not the same. I mean, the wheel is turning for all of us. The wheel is turning. I want to do things a different way. So who is speaking when the cards are speaking? We decide that we're the reader. We are channeling the message of the cards to the person. A lot of times people say we're channeling people, but who are you channeling? Your higher self, your inner guide, your soul consciousness. It all depends on your favorite belief system. Now, you will see a lot of readings on YouTube, the ancestors say. So you have decided, I'm going to read the cards as messages from the ancestors. And why not? You don't have to have a course for that. All you have to do is connect to the ancestors. You have to believe that this is what you're doing. Put your faith and trust. If you have a good relationship with them, then, and you're reading it like this because they have asked you to do so. They want you to do so. They want you to do so, right? So this is a message. So I got a message that I wrote down. I'm always writing and sharing, but I'm going to read it to you because it's what I was told by the ancestors. So they said to me, I heard this as I looked at the card. It said, you are being removed from a toxic situation and being led towards a new shore. You're on a journey. And at this time, you will be able to see things from a clearer perspective because of the distance. So they're working with me through what I already know of the card, right? Because we're working together, we're collaborating. So don't turn around, don't look back. The past is being left behind you, where it belongs. You're leaving behind a crisis situation, right? Hell, this will allow you to see things from a different point of view, objectively. You don't worry about that. You're leaving behind warring factions of the Five of Swords, right? So this card is, yes, we're talking about the Mercury in Aquarius. So it's the mundane mind in the sign of the higher mind, which is the sign of Aquarius, ruled by Uranus. Uranus is the higher mind. It's the higher octave of Mercury. It's the cosmic intelligence. It's like out in the galaxy mind, right? It's this consciousness. They say sometimes it is also the Akashic records. So listen now, that's where we're going to be dealing with when we're dealing with our ancestors. When we go, we talk to our ascended masters, we talk to our guides. Know it or not, this is where you're going. So this card is going to help you to, change your attitude. Yes, we know that you're unhappy. We know that you're in a recovery state. You're melancholy, you're sad, you're feeling defeated. But there comes a change of attitude. You're going to see things from the bigger picture. There will be trips inward and outward. You're on a journey. You must say a tearful goodbye. It's a time of uncertainty. What does the future hold? We are creating distance from a difficult situation. You're moving to another country. You may be a refugee or you may simply be emigrating. The river Styx is a crossing over. It's going to the underworld. It means it's time to do the shadow work. When you've passed the exam, then you can move forward. Someone has your back, someone to care for you. This card is like the bridge over troubled waters. And it's also a song that I asked the other day, my friend, I said, who sings this song? And I heard Bonnie Siegler, cross that bridge when you get to it. All right. And that's what I wanted to share about this card. So we're up to 19 minutes and that's very good. All right. Take care.